Alright, today we're going to be doing a quick clip. I like the quick clips a little bit better because I don't really like the long videos. The more I watch them, the more I was like, man, they're way too long. Of me playing Doomsday here. I just played this game just a few seconds ago, so my memory is incredibly fresh on why I made the decisions I did the way I did. It was a quick game. I decided to record this one mainly because I got to use a pile that I don't use very often. And it's one of those things about piloting Doomsday. You need to know all these piles so that you can make the best decisions. So even though it's not one that's super common, the interactions that you see are very common, and the more you use them, the more comfortable you'll get making these plays. So in my opening hand, I see a Gush, a Probe, no islands, which isn't very good with Gush, but Gush is still very good. We can still get the islands. But we have a turn 1 Dark Confident, which is really strong. It's almost like getting a different hand you can't see, but better as long as the Dark Confidence get removed. But we also have a tutor for Doomsday, a Lion's Eye Diamond for mana, another free cantrip in Probe, which is great for opening Doomsday piles. So this hand is not too bad. Norin opens up with Soul Ring, Genesis Chamber, which is fairly scary. Sometimes it'll take us, 4 or 5 turns to go off, and that sets up a lot of damage really fast. Very good top deck here. Bloodstained Mire. We're going to use it first because we want to try to get our Gush online. And we're going to immediately go to Bob on turn 1. And because we top deck this, one of the other reasons it's such an amazing top deck is the Catacomb is actually a horrible land to have a 1-of in your hand because it comes up play tapped in this hand. So I wouldn't even get turn 1 Confidence. So that really was a good top deck. About as good as I could ask for, aside from, I guess, top decking the UC itself. Ignore, no up there. More ramp, Norin goes out. Genesis Chamber starts rolling. Tri-Relver, you see that Genesis Chamber is just silly. And for Belindles, which actually isn't very good here because we've already got the Mystical. Drawing a land isn't bad, but we wished it was another island so we could use our Gush. We can't have everything. Either way, we don't mind because now we've got triple black between Command Tower, UC, and Drowned Catacomb. So as soon as I have triple black, I go, well, I can cast Doomsday next turn if I want. So the question I'm asking myself, if you watch this timer, my timer is going to go down a lot longer than theirs because I'm going to be thinking longer than they are, even though I have no interactions on this turns. So I'll see if this gets my timer good. Yeah. They're doing stuff, but it's taking me a long time to think, even though I have no interaction. And that's because right now I'm trying to think, can I win? You can cast the Doomsday. There's no way we're going to get Gush online other than luck top decking an island. If we do that, we know we're going to be able to win. It's a no-brainer. He kills Dark Confident, so that lowers our chance of getting that island. He is off to the races. If this game goes any longer, we are pretty much in the worst position in a fair game. But since it's the very early turns, they're still tapping out to press that advantage as much as possible. This guy follows suit here. You see my timer ticking down a little bit longer than his. They're all about 1.5 minutes in, 1.25 minutes in, and I've been thinking for 3 minutes. This is because we're not going to have any ability to do this with a normal pile. If we go for something like Ideas Unbound with a Lion's Eye Diamond, we will have color issues. Like, we can't just go straight into a Yogg-Will. We'll have cantripping issues. It's not going to flow the way we want. So the only way we're going to have a pile that works is to fix that mana issue by using Night's Whisper, which is probably the reason you run it in the deck, is so that you can make this kind of pile. So what we're going to do is we're going to cast the Doomsday. We're going to ignore the Gush because we can't use it. Limb Duels and Gush are dead. But with just an LED, a Probe, and a Doomsday, we can win because we play Night's Whisper, which is one of the reasons very good. So if you check my pile out here, Dark Ritual, Night's Whisper, Yogg-Will, Labman, and Petal. The Petal, because in this particular situation I need a blue to cast a Labman. The Night's Whisper, because we can cast it twice with our Probe, and our Probe flashback on Yogg-Will is exactly 6, which is where your pile should be cantrip-wise. And we're going to get enough mana to cast everything because we're going to be able to Night's Whisper floating 1 off LED, Dark Ritual into our Yogg-Will, Because of like the mana thing I was talking about earlier, when we re-LED, we will not be able to choose blue and still cast the Dark Ritual. So what we're going to do is go black and then Dark Ritual. And then from there we'll Night's Whisper again, still floating the 3, which will be our mana for Laboratory Maniac. And then we'll get the Petal for the split. So the reason you need to do it that way is because reusing the Dark Ritual, like we are with Yagwil, in addition to reusing the LED, is incredibly efficient.
It doesn't have enough value and I unplugged it because it had enough value.
Okay. Well, it seems like my son's iPad died, so I'm going to have to go fix it for him. But as you see here, LED, cracks the probe, Night's Whisper. One of the problems with these really aggressive piles, technically, and well, for reals, yo, since I don't have an extra blue here, actually it doesn't matter if I have an extra blue or not. Since we're using Probe as our finishing card, this guy can choose to simply just be a douche and concede. Which, part of the reason I would be wary of bringing this deck to a tournament is so many of the good piles use Probe. And if someone wants to be a douche, or if they think you've won, whether you're using the Probe in the middle of the pile, they're more than likely, if you're using a super efficient pile, you're going to be using the Probe multiple times. That's probably part of the reason you put it in the pile. But they can just douche scoop to this Probe, and then this guy and this guy get a chance to bounce the Lab Man to kill you. But he didn't, so instead I get, I don't like your deck. Dude concedes, says nothing. Dude lets me beat him. Turn 3. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting because it showed one of the reasons I like to run Night's Whisper. The other reason is just a solid card. Doomsday is a deck that doesn't really get to refill all that often, and things like the Dark Confidant, Night's Whisper, Sylvan Library, things like this really help the deck fill back up, especially when it's trying to fight through control. And it's one of the only ways it can really scale into the late game is when you get, like, you know, a Mana Dork play or something of that nature. Because when you start to go off that way, you'll switch to this plan if you have to go late against a control deck. But either way, very, very good.